Well, hello, folks. Uh, I got on a while ago trying to do a live on TikTok, and it wasn't doing any good at all. And I was doing it on my phone, and I kept getting uh, someone calling for DoorDash. And why they kept doing that, I don't know. Come find out. Well, I know now. My grandson called me, and he finally got it off. But I done burnt my live situation on TikTok. I have to try to do it again this afternoon. Um, I'm going to talk to you on uh, YouTube. Same thing that I was talking about on that. I don't know if it's just me, or I hope everybody else thinks the same thing, because I'd hate to think I'm the only one that thought a certain way on a subject. But uh, all my life, ever since I can remember, we had something that we really like. And one thing, butterscotch ice cream. We used to buy it down at Maysville, Kentucky, at Cloverleaf Dairy. Butterscotch ice cream. Best stuff you ever ate. But it was so good that people was getting addicted to it. And they had to quit selling it. And what's in butterscotch that makes it addictive? Just the goodness. And people kept saying they was addicted to it, and they took it off the market. And why, I don't know. You take Denny Moore beef stew. Used to be the best beef stew you could get. And they come out with that little slogan that says, new and improved. And it was a new taste, all right. Wasn't worth 2 cents. They went from actual chunks of beef to hamburger balls, and it had an aftertaste to it, and it wasn't worth 2 cents. It wasn't even close. And now the only thing you can get that is good beef stew is H&H brand sold with Save-A-Lots. It took me a long time to try that brand. I figured it wasn't no good. But it tastes like the old Denny Moore used to. So if y'all want some good beef stew, try to get that H&H off of Save-A-Lots. You might be able to order it online, I don't know, but it's good. And the roast beef in a can with made for, like if you want to put on roast beef, mashed potatoes and gravy, you can buy that H&H roast beef in a can, and it's delicious. Well, Save-A-Lots can't keep in it all the time. They sell out a lot. But anyhow, that was what I was talking about. And if any of y'all was over on TikTok listening, you'll know I was having problems. So I had to cut that one short, and I'll go back over and try to do another one this week, or this evening. Now, while I'm on YouTube here, I went to a birthday party yesterday. First one I'd went to for a child in over 50 years, I guess, maybe 40, but it was a long time ago. And I went to it, had a good time, and but it reminded me of something that happened when I was a child. I'm going to tell you about it. And when I was a child, I lived mostly in the rural area of town, or of the country, on a farm. And but we did move to town for a few years there at one time during my upbringing. And I got invited to a birthday party, and it was out next to a highway. There's a small park out there, and along the highway had maybe 8 or 10 picnic tables and a little overhang over each table. And there's many birthday parties that went on there. The little girl that's having the birthday party was about 12, 13 years old, maybe 14. But and I was only about 10 or 11 years old. So I went to the party, and now just hold on to that thought a minute while I tell you about this old woman that is partly in the video. This old lady, she was, her name was Ida, and if you think about a man hobo, this elderly lady, she was maybe you call her a female hobo. That's the way she would probably come over to you if you seen her. But she was a real nice lady. And in fact, she didn't live very far from me at the time. But this old lady, she had a husband, and she had a girl and a boy. And I knew both the boy and the girl, played with the boy sometimes when I was in town, and visited an uncle of mine that lived less than half a block from where they lived. But Ida, she had a little cart with a buggy wheel on it. If you all know the old kind of horse and buggy that had two wheels and took one horse to draw it, well, she had wheels off one of them. They weren't heavy-duty wheels, they were lightweight. And she would get up in the morning. She had a cart made with those wheels on it, and it run out, and she would step inside the things that pulled the cart, and it had a bar across the front of it, and she'd walk, and she'd pull that cart along the highways. And she would go out, start out at maybe about 30 minutes before daybreak. Took her that long to get from her house to where the highways was. And she would walk the highway picking up stuff that people would throw it away or lost or whatever, and accumulated on the highway. And she'd done this for years. And there was 4 roads. There was Highway 10 that went east out of Maysville and west out of Maysville. There was a Highway 11 that went to Flemingsburg. And there was a Highway 68 that went to Lexington. And Highway 62 that followed Highway 68 out about 3 miles, and then turned right and went west toward Falmouth and different places like that. And it eventually ended up in Lexington also. But she would take turns. Each day she'd be on a different road. And so keep that in mind. At the day of this party, she was on the Flemingsburg Road. Now the party was at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, Ida was on her way back from Flemingsburg back to Maysville at that time. And she was coming down, like I say, the parking area from the park was right along the highway, and the main park of it set off about 40, maybe 20 yards or 30 yards off the highway. There was about a 10-foot or section there that was ditch and the side of the road. And she was coming down that road, and we was over there enjoying the party and everything, and she was coming down that road with her little cart, and something happened, a crack in the road or something, and she slipped and fell. And that she had that cart loaded down pretty heavy, and it drug her ways. Well, the birthday girl, I won't use her name, the birthday girl, she ran out there and helped the little girl, or the old lady. Go lay down, girl, telling the story. Go lay down. And she helped the old lady. And back at that time, where we was at there was probably 6, 8 miles or close to it from the nearest hospital, which was Maysville Hospital. And the traffic wasn't real heavy on the road that day. And in fact, it was on a Sunday, best I remember. Saturday or Sunday, one or the other. But there wasn't much traffic. And back in the 50s, there wasn't a whole lot of traffic. Well, not near as many cars as there are today. In fact, the roads in the housing areas of Maysville, about 80% of them were still gravel. They weren't paved like they are today, just the main arteries. And so the birthday girl was out there helping the old lady, and she had some pretty good scrapes and stuff, and she treated her. In the meantime, they had called, somebody had tried to call, they had to go to a house because nobody had a cell phone or anything that way. And I think, best I remember, it took 4, 5, 6 houses to find a telephone, because not everybody had telephones back then. And they were regular landlines then. You dial, I think you had a dial thing on it, but you dialed 0 and the operator come on, and if you tell her a situation, she'd call what was known back then. It wasn't 911, it was something else, but they was able to get an ambulance by calling, going to a house and calling the doctors, and they got an ambulance out there. But it took him about close to 45 minutes, I guess, to find a phone and get the message out, and then it took close to another hour before they got there. And the best I remember, of course, I didn't go over to where the old lady was. I was a kid, and they made me stay back away from the traffic and stuff. And they was 4 or 5 grown-ups over there with the birthday girl. And finally, to make a little shorter story out of it, the ambulance arrived, and they took Ida to the hospital. Well, later on during the day, I found out that she had had a broken arm, and I believe it cracked a bone in one of her ankles, where the buggy tire actually rolled, or wheel actually rolled over it. And it might have been her leg that was broken, but I think it was just a chip bone in her ankle, or a foot bone. But I'm not real sure on that part. But nevertheless, it was an injury, and she had scrapes on her knees and also on her arms. Well, we went back, had the party, and everybody talked about it, and this, that, and the other. And but the little birthday girl done all the taking care of the old lady what time was waiting on her. And we was sitting there talking about it. And after the birthday party, well, we never thought nothing about it. We went on home, and once had parents there, and some of us was dropped off by someone else. And so several years went by. Nobody ever thought about that again. And I didn't either. I remembered it, but nobody thought about it. And years went by, and Ida, I'm thinking I was about 16 or 15 or 16 at this time. Ida had a massive heart attack and died. And when they was getting her ready at the funeral and everything, they found a note. Now Ida carried on her, under her dress, on her garter, She wore old stockings all the time, and under her dress she had a garter belt and a little bag inside of it, or hooked onto it, and she carried money in there. Well, when she died, they was getting her ready for the funeral and everything, and they found this garter belt along with the note and said, whoever finds this note, get a hold of my lawyer, because I'll be dead, and see that this is carried out. Well, to make a long story short, the note, I don't know how it read, but Ida, everybody thought she was poor because of what she done. But Ida found things that were useful, they're still good, and she cleaned them up and sold them at a little thrift shop somewhere there around Maysville, or maybe like a yard sale. I don't know how she done it because I wasn't around when she done it. But she sold all that stuff. Ida left this girl, birthday girl, $125,000 for the kindness that she showed that day when it was her birthday. She forgot about her birthday long enough to help an old lady that most people thought was like a hobo, but she wasn't. I knew her whole family, and they were nice people. Hunted with her boy many times, and her daughter was a real pretty girl, and the old man, he had passed away a year or so before Ida did. But she also left her daughter and a boy well off. They never had to worry about working again. But you know something? They all continue. Both of them continue to work, and they only spent that money when they really needed it to fix up their place or something like that. So I had long forgot about that until yesterday at that birthday party, and I thought about that little girl, and I know the little girl well, and she was my aunt, and I said my aunt, I'm sorry, she was my cousin, and so if you like this story, hit a like button, and go ahead and sign up, become a subscriber. It won't cost you anything, and maybe someday you can make somebody smile and tend to them when they need help, and they'll do a return favor for you sometime. But I'll let you chew on that in a while. I hope I told it well, because like I say, that's the first time I'd thought about it since I was a kid. And y'all have a good day, and God bless you, and He will if you let Him. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Oh, I can't hit the button.